Alright, so this lesson 3.7 is going to be talking about a graphic is worth 1,000 words. So how using different types of graphics can help influence the reader to support and help support your claim. Okay, so our goal is by the end, we're going to evaluate the purpose of visual displays for communicating information and create our own visual display to support a claim that they're going to give to us. So as we read the following news article, mark the text by highlighting next to any information that you think could be represented visually. When it says visually, that could be a picture, that could be a graph, that could be some type of chart, that could be a wide variety of things. So anything that you think could be shown visually to help increase the quality and understanding of the article, highlight that section because that will come up later. So the better job you identify those things now, the easier your job will be later. And then you will read interesting article. It's a science article about 3D printing. So go ahead and pause it, read through the article, and then be marking those things in the text that you think could be represented visually. Okay, after you have read the story, or not the story, the article has some questions here. Number 1, which details support the inference that 3D printing will change the daily lives of individuals? So you can take a quote from that section from probably some individuals or data that would support that. Number 2, what is the meaning of the word potential in paragraph 4? Use context clues to help determine the meaning. Number 3, summarize the central idea of the section titled Dawn of a New Technology. So you're going to go back to that section and find what the central idea or the big idea or what that paragraph is mostly about. If you were going to go tell your neighbor, this paragraph is about, that's the central idea. Number 4, how is paragraph 14 connected to the section titled Layer by Layer? How does the author's use of the analogy of sculpting a loaf of bread help the reader understand the process of 3D printing? So go back and review paragraph 14. And how is that analogy? So analogy is comparing one thing to another. It's kind of like a synonym, or kind of like that when you're comparing one thing to help you understand another thing. So that's what it's doing here. Number 5, what is the author's purpose in writing about 3D printers? How do you know? So remember, author's purpose, we only have 3 options: to inform, to entertain, and to persuade. So you're going to choose one of those 3 things, and how do you know? So I'll give you a heads up on that one. Number 6, what evidence does the author provide to support the idea that 3D printers are capable of supporting our exploration of space? Plenty of details to support that statement. Then, after you're done, it says graphics come in all forms. Some provide data, while others may be photos. Every graphic tells its own story. Follow these tips for reading graphics. Okay, so read the title, read the labels, analyze other features. Okay, so I'm not going to read you this whole thing, so finish reading what those. I'm just doing the highlights here. And then we're going to look at the following diagram here, and answer the questions that follow. Okay, so here's a diagram. Here's a visual that shows us more about 3D printing. Okay, it has lots of information around it. It has numbers. This is a diagram that has pointing to each part of the 3D printer, so it has lots of information here. Okay, so which features of the diagram are important? Using the diagram, explain the process of 3D printing, and which section of the article that we read earlier would have benefited. So where would you have put this article? So think about answering those 3 questions. And then this is what you're going to be turning in along with these questions. You're going to write a short argument supporting the following claim. Here's your claim for your short writing activity. 3D printers are the next industrial revolution. Be sure to, so that's your claim already. That's going to be your first sentence. State your claim clearly at the beginning of your argument. They already gave it to you. Provide clear reasons and evidence to support your claim. You're going to get that information from the article we read. Maintain a consistent formal style and tone. So we talked about that in a previous lesson. Staying consistent, professional, formal. And then you're going to create your own visual display to support your claim. Okay, this could be something you Google, you find, or you can create and make up using information that you took from that text. So anything that you thought could be turned into a visual, now you're going to. So if there's any type of data, like percentages or increase, or there is some statistics in there that you could use to make a line graph, a bar graph, a pie graph, a flow chart, a timeline, a table, or a diagram. Okay, you can't use the diagram that they gave you, sorry. Okay, so what other visual displays or multimedia components, images, music, sound might be helpful for your display? And then later we can share those with the class, but you are going to turn that in as a quick assignment. So state the claim, check your reasons and evidence, explain how the visual supports the claim with reasons and evidence, and use a formal style. Okay, so that says, and then the last question here, why are visual displays such as charts or graphs helpful in trying to convince an audience? Which of the visual displays that you viewed was most effective? Okay, so after we take a look at those, which one do you like the best? I'm sure lots of you will put images or videos or music. I would agree with you on those. They are convincing and help you understand things when you see, like if we had this chart in a video, I think that would be even more helpful than this diagram, right? If it showed us the process and described the whole deal instead of having to follow through step by step, which is still good, but if this was made into a video, it would help us understand things better. All right, lots of stuff to do here today.